the World Healing Tour movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.
Hey everybody, my name is Lisa Ray. I'm a literary agent and I'm working with the media team here at The Grass Grows where I am, and we are so excited to bring you a co-author experience where you will grow your brand and your visibility. Click the link below and apply now for free, and we will see you inside the pages of The Grass Grows where I am.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, and welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. I'm also the author of the book, The Grass is Greenest Where I Am, because the grass is greenest where you are when you say so. When you choose to live in a place of no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity. When you live in your own love and light and share your unique gifts with the world. Because we are all unique and we all came here to bring our unique gifts into the world. That's why it's called World Healing Tour. Because when you heal yourself, you truly create that impact, that ripple effect to help others heal as well. Each week I bring incredible guests into studio to help pour into you and onto your journey. I'm really excited about my guest today, Lynn Lessell. She's an award-winning top concierge coach, founder of Inner Power Partners, and the author of our upcoming book, The Grass Grows Where I Am. I'm so excited to showcase her and all the incredible work she's doing in the world. She's helping so many people and really creating difference in our communities and in our lives. So Lynn, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be here with you today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here with you. First of all, I want to congratulate you on that incredible award you just got. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you? And I mean, you put so much hard work. I mean, and it shows. And, you know, just take this moment, like you really did it. I mean, you got, flown to, where did you go? Tell us a little bit.
I went to Nashville.
To Nashville.
I went to Nashville. They choose a different spot each year when they have these people that they highlight. And I have to honestly say, I was very taken aback when they first approached me. It was the first time anybody has ever reached out to give me an award. And to see some of the amazing people that were honored along with me this year was just very humbling. I started out at the beginning of the year, they gave me the award for top concierge coach. And halfway through 2024, they approached me to offer me another award of Empowered Woman of 2024. And that came very much from a lot of the success that's been happening with the Inner Power Partners community. So it was one thing to be offered the award. It was another thing to be invited to a gala where you're going to be going up on stage in front of a whole bunch of people. We often sit home and watch, the Emmys, the Oscars, any of these award shows. And you look into an audience, it's like a sea of people, and then they call a name that goes up on stage to get this beautiful award. And that was me. It was me. And it was just very exciting. I made a lot of friends from around the world, got to meet a lot of amazing people who are doing a lot of really great work in many countries, not only our own. Ironically, there were a lot of people that I met from the state of Florida, where I live, even though they're not from my local city. But it was really just an incredible experience, really was. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, no, it's really, really special. You have become such a leader in our community and bringing people together and creating impact, making our lives better, through community, through connections. And also I'm just so honored because you get to be an author in our book, The Grass Grows Where I Am, and share your impact even more. And I'm just so grateful that you said yes to be a part of this, because I see you as such a leader and somebody that I really do want to highlight in our book and showcase all the great things that you are doing, because you have really made so much progress just in a very short amount of time.
It has been very quick.
Yeah, but your action has really changed the trajectory of your life.
Yes. I think more than the trajectory of my life, what fuels me is the transformations that's happening in other people's lives. It's very easy to say it's too hard, I can't do it. But when someone calls you up almost on a daily basis, I have somebody else calling me and saying, thank you for creating this community. It has changed my life. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm like, okay, then we have to keep going, because we've all dealt with so much over the course of the last few years that if we're changing the trajectory of what it means to be people, even one person at a time, whatever we each can do to contribute to that is a big deal. I've had a large global reach over the last few years, and I think that's what made it so exciting to come on board with you in the World Healing Tour, because we both have a very similar mission, and there's power in numbers, right? So if we can do this together and we can get to more people, and more people can find that peace in themselves, that happiness and that power of choice, then let's do it.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
and I love that. Lynn, I'm like you, I'm about collaborations and elevating each other, because it's the win-win that really creates change for all, because it's not about you, because you get the gift, but when you share it with
Right.
others and you help others on the journey, and I love that about you, how much you are humble about what you've done, and you're always saying, oh, it's because everybody else, but truly you are the center of it. You are the foundation that really helped us all come together, and I'm really grateful that we connected, and I do see the alignment and the connection, because at the end of the day, what do we want? We want to leave this world better than we found it. We want to create legacy. We want to help, other people grow and have better experiences in life, right? And we do that through those connections. So let's talk about these connections and why they're so important to you. Where did you come to a place that you're like, I need to create something for connections, because that was a missing, right?
Well, it was a big void. I think the most important thing is to just recognize that everyone has a story, and not every story is a great story to that person. I had a collection of a lot of stories over the course of my life, and that really defined how I looked at myself and how I reacted to others. The most important part about that was that I really didn't know that I didn't know a lot about myself, and I never looked to find answers because I didn't know I should. So through the course of my journey, when I finally, and unfortunately, I kind of had to hit my lowest point and hit rock bottom. In that step going forward, the first of so many steps, I couldn't define a blueprint of how I got to where I am today, but what I can say that each little micro step was important to the next one. And when I had enough of them and had that aha moment that I actually found the person I was meant to be, and I love that person, and that actually made a difference to other people. More importantly than anything, I figured out the ways to be able to, for lack of a better way to put it, fix yourself. And I'm not quite sure that anybody's ever really looked for those answers. And so whether they have or they haven't doesn't matter. I feel like I found a way to be able to help others do it a little bit more quickly. And so my mission was to help other people the way I wish somebody would have been there to help me. And it's not that I didn't have a lot of good people in my life. It's not that I didn't find all the avenues for the help that I could have used. Nobody had the right answers for me. And I believed at the time that I was an island, that there was no one else out there that could have possibly understood how broken I felt and how much I needed, how much I wanted. And the SOS flag was just always waving. And I didn't think anybody could ever understand that or anybody else was going through it. When I got on the other side of it, I actually reflected and said, how silly could you be, Lynn? The majority of people out there are going through the same exact thing you are. Not everybody finds their answers at all, and some of them don't find it quickly. So my goal was to just reach out and let those people who are like me, who thought there wasn't any other options, that there were no possibilities, that they had tried everything, there is an answer. And I may not have the exact blueprint for you, but I will help you find yours. And we'll make it happen together because I know it's possible. And it really all stems not on the daily stress that we normalize, not on all of the speed bumps that we try to get over. It really, really has everything to do with your level of resilience. And that's why I really chose to write about that in the book.
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk a little bit about resilience and what resilience means to you.
Well,
And how do you build the resilience? Like, that's
well,
not
it's not an easy
thing.
answer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It really isn't easy. I think what's important for someone to recognize is that nothing happens overnight. That's first of all, because anybody that wants to get the quick fix, it will disappear just as quickly. I've learned that myself. But what I've learned is most important about resilience. I'd like to kind of use a little anecdote to share that. You know, most of us have either had our own children or we know somebody who has small children. Stereotype we hear all the time. A child falls down. You make them laugh. You try to make them forget that they got hurt. Oh, don't worry. Kids are resilient. They'll bounce back. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And I started to really think about that. And I said, why are kids resilient and they can bounce back quickly? What happens to us when we become adults? Where does it go? What happened to it? Why did it go away? Because for me as an adult, for many, many years, it could take weeks, months, years for me to come back from something. That's a long time to hold on to something negative. And that only gives you more and more negative reinforcement. How can that help you? But you don't realize it when you're in it. You really don't. So I really struggled to try and figure out, how can we get that back? Where did it go? And how can we find it again? So a lot of it does have to do with the way we react to things. But most importantly, I think it has to do with how we see ourselves. It took me years before I actually heard myself say out loud, well, for the first time in my life, I love myself. And I went, who said that? Because I really couldn't believe that came out of my mouth. Why is that important? Because from that moment on, it became a lot easier to work on my reactions to things and the resilience that I had coming back from the things that may not have made me feel good. So now, today, the Lynn of today can bounce back within minutes, hours, the longest maybe a day, depending on what it is. It's so important. The faster you can bounce back from something that you've had to react to, the quicker you can move forward. And the quicker you're focusing on what's positive and going towards the success of whatever you're working towards. If you're holding on to whatever that horrible thing is in that moment, and it could be any number of things. It's about how horrible it is to the person that's experiencing it. But if you hold on to something for weeks, for months, for years, it's going to affect everyone in your life. It's going to affect everything that you do. And if you're not happy, then the person you're truly meant to be is hiding somewhere in the back of your mind, just waiting for that positive thing to kind of bring them forward. You're the one who has the control over that. We're all in charge of our own happiness. We all get to choose our destiny because we always have opportunity to take one step forward. So let's look at this from ground zero. Every day we have stresses that we deal with, right? They're daily stressors. We normalize them because we can't change them. It's maybe we just have a lot of things on our to-do list. Maybe we have a lot of things at work. Maybe it's a deadline that's coming up and we don't know how we're going to have enough time to do it. And then, we have our families to take care of, and we can go on and on and on, right? Those daily stresses are the things that eat us from the inside out. It becomes toxic. So, as I like to say, if we had a glass of poison in front of us and we were thirsty, would we drink it? Most people would say no. Well, the stress that we normalize on a daily basis is just as toxic. So why do we allow that for ourselves? We have to go find that kid that we left behind that had all the resilience. Why? Maybe because as we get older, we start to think about what other people are saying. We start to think about the consequences of any actions that we may have. I'm not saying anything criminal, anything illegal. I'm saying just daily stuff, right? It could be just something that we say to somebody that can hurt somebody's feelings, and then the whole thing gets misinterpreted. All these little things add up to a big mountain of toxicity. And if we don't want to take a bite out of that mountain, then we have to figure out something else. When you build your resilience, that's the way that you reduce the toxicity that's happening in your body, right? So how do you do that? It's not easy. But the first thing is awareness. Without the awareness, it's hard to take the next step.
Yeah, and it sounds like when you're able to build your resilience, you're able to overcome that stress mountain.
Exactly. And now that mountain becomes a little molehill, right? We'll call it a speed bump. It just happened to me a couple of days ago, okay? I got a call the night before. I was out at a meeting, and when I checked the voicemail, it was like, please give me a call. That usually comes with something behind it. And so I found out that I lost somebody close to me, and because we're not anywhere near each other, the next day was going to be a funeral on Zoom. And I attended that, and there was a bunch of other family faces in there. And something about that experience just triggered something in me from long ago. And then everything else in that day triggered me. And I recognized right away, this is where it happened. And this is what it caused.
You were aware.
I was aware. And because of that, then the mindset became, stop, take a deep breath. Tomorrow's a new day. It was a struggle getting through the day. But when I woke up the next morning, it was a new day. Everything was good. I was happy and I could move forward. That's not necessarily easy to do, but if you practice, I would tell you, and the viewers listening here, this is my big secret. I'm going to share it with you, okay? When something happens that totally knocks you off your game, here are the two things you need to ask yourself. What do I want to feel in this moment? And what do I want? Because what I want matters. When you ask yourself those two questions, as simple as it sounds, I guarantee you it's going to take you time to really answer that. Because most of us don't necessarily know what we really want. And how often do we stop and say, what do we want in this moment? How do we want to feel? But those are the two things that are going to start to bring you to the awareness. Every time your emotions get thrown out of whack, and eventually you're going to rebuild that resilience again. It's kind of like that child that falls, scrapes their knee, and they're crying because it really hurts. It hurts when we're adults too. But kids can easily get distracted on something better, something that can make them laugh, something that can make them feel silly. I invite you all, feel silly. Find your inner child and just laugh it off, because nothing comes from holding on to it. I can guarantee that.
So that you don't feel stuck.
Well, that's exactly what causes us to feel stuck.
Right.
When we hold on to these things that we really can't change, right? We can try to heal the world. We can't try to change it because there's too many factors that are just impossible to change. Most often when we feel stuck or we feel trapped, we feel unhappy, it's because there's something that we're holding on to that we won't let go of. And when you do that, you keep yourself in the darkness instead of allowing yourself to have brightness around you, right? When we smile, you glow, right? You make other people happy. It's a joy to me every time I get to see you because you always give me a smile. That brightens my day. How much does it brighten your day if somebody's upset and frowning or hurting and there's nothing you could do about it, right? So you can always help somebody else find their smile, but it's most important to be able to find your own.
Right. And if you can't find your own smile, how can you really make other people smile, right? Because if you're sad inside or you're stuck inside or you're angry or, whatever it is, emotions are going on, because you will drown in your own emotions and you won't be able to, move forward. And that creates less resilience because you're now drowning instead of being able to climb that mountain.
Absolutely. I think it's important to say that most people probably don't even realize that they're holding on to something. I know I didn't. I had no idea that there was something that I was holding on to. I didn't even know what it was. Luckily for me, I worked with a coach that they were asking me all kinds of questions, and I was like, why are you even asking me that? Like, that's not relevant to anything. Funny thing is, all the questions revolved around the fact that I had told this person, this is going back several years, I was having this lifelong recurring dream. It was really a nightmare. I couldn't identify anything. There weren't a lot of details about it except for the horror that I felt. And I had it as a child, and I had it my entire life into adulthood.
The same dream.
The same exact horror, okay? So I don't know where she got her questions from, but the bottom line was, after 2 phone calls that we had, and a lot of aha moments from those phone calls, I never had that dream again. And that opened up so many possibilities for me to build my resilience from that point, because I was holding on to something that I wasn't even aware that I was holding on to.
Something in your subconscious mind.
Absolutely. And so we can't do anything about what we don't know. That's why I say the first major step is truly awareness, because sometimes you may need somebody else to try to help you figure out what it is, because obviously if you don't know about it, you may not even know what to ask, which was exactly what I went through. That's why there's like this big question mark that we carry around with us when we don't know something. But once you do discover something, you can't unknow it. So then you have to choose to either do something about it or just sweep it under the rug. But it's all those little discoveries about yourself that give you the ability to build a resilience and a great positive way to be able to react to anything, to really become the person that you were meant to be.
Yeah, I love that inner work, because I feel like that inner work is so important for us to grow ourselves, because there's so many things, like you said, like going on in our subconscious mind, or in, things that we haven't dealt with. And those things literally can stop us from creating, a life that we love, and keep stress and fear and anxiety within our lives on a daily basis, and stress, right? Which you work with people on stress.
Well, and you cannot eliminate stress. You can't get rid of it. That's probably a misconception. So it's not about eliminating it. It's about understanding it, right? Let's take an example. Stress really comes from fear, right? Now, the dictionary definition of fear is to be in imminent life-threatening danger. There are a number of people who are afraid of so many things that do not propose life-threatening danger. So if we ask ourselves, in a moment of being afraid of something, what are we afraid of? Is this life-threatening? And is there something else that I can do about it? It suddenly kind of takes that, big, scary feeling out of the picture, and suddenly it's a little bit smaller. Kind of like the story about I think it's the lion that has the thorn in his paw, and the little mouse comes and pulls it out and is suddenly a hero, right? When normally the lion would be the big scary thing. So getting back to the subconscious that you mentioned before, our bodies are designed to protect ourselves. Our brain, there's a part of our brain that's just designed to protect us from fear. But when we're in fear for an elongated amount of time, the amount of cortisol that our body releases to protect us, the way our body reacts in that flight or fear or flight mode, right? It becomes a detriment to us if it's on the long term. I say that, I know it because it happened to me. And I developed a lot of things that I had no idea originated from stress or were aggravated by stress. And we just think that these ailments kind of pop up out of nowhere. And the longer we let it go on, the harder it is to cure, right? So it's not just our mental resilience. When we build our mental resilience, we're building our physical resilience. And we become overall much healthier. And sort of the relationships that we have around us.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Everything is connected to something else, So it always comes from inside to be able to create something different on the outside.
So, like I said before, that glass of poison is as toxic as normalizing the stress, right? So we have the control and the choice to say, no, I'm not going to drink that poison. I say, let's make the choice to not allow the stress to really get to us. Look at what that stressful moment is. You could just tell it right out loud if you want. Listen, you're not threatening my life. I'm okay. I can do this. And then figure out what the next step is. It's not easy. I don't want to make anybody believe that it's easy. It isn't. But it's a journey that is so worth it. Because if I would have bet on myself a long time ago that I could be who I am today and have the life that I have now, I would have lost that bet. And there's no fun in that. So,
We have to get out of our own way.
absolutely. And I know it may sound very stereotype, and a lot of people say that. I really, truly believe that when you give yourself permission to be aware, that's everything.
100%. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with Lynn Lessell.
Hi, I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the marketing director for The Grass Grows Where I Am, and we can't wait to work with you. And if being in this anthology book would make a difference for your brand, your visibility, and your profitability, click the link below and let's get you started. Can't wait to work with you.
Well,
And we are back with Lynn Lessell. So Lynn, I'm really excited. You know, we're talking about you being an author and writing about resilience. You also work with people. What does it mean to be a top concierge coach? Do you work with clients on building their resilience? Is that one of the main things you focus on?
there's many steps. And the first thing is really figuring out where they're stuck. Most often when you ask a client, well, what's stopping you? They don't really know. So we have to kind of just get to know each other. One of the things that is specific about being a concierge coach is that my clients have 24/7 access to me by text or email with a 24-hour turnaround. Because from my own experience, and I went for therapy, life doesn't happen once a week. So if you're in a crisis and something happens and you're feeling lost, it doesn't help to say, I got to wait 6 days till I speak to my therapist, right? So my feeling is that if I'm going to truly be able to be there to help a client, I need to be able to let them know that it's not just once a week. They have access to me. 24-hour turnaround, I think, is reasonable because they might message me in the middle of the night and I may not be awake to get that, but I'll get it first thing the next day. And I think that makes a big difference because it gives somebody a sense that they're not alone on a daily basis. That was something that I couldn't have been surrounded by more people and felt more alone through most of my life. So I don't want anyone to ever feel alone. So that comes in there. The resilience part, honestly, is something that we work on as we work through what's holding them back, right? So they can't get to the resilience part until they discover the other part. And there's always a lot of things that come to play in that for each person because everybody's story is different. Everybody's wants and needs are different, and the things that are going to trigger them might be different. But once we get towards what the issue is, then we can start to identify where it's kind of showing up, right? And where it's actually causing things in unrelated areas. And once you know, it's easier to shift it. Now, sometimes people can get through that right away in a short period of time. And sometimes it takes other people longer, depending on their circumstance. But the bottom line is, once you know what you're dealing with, once you know what you want, once you know how you want to feel in any situation, and the situations that are usually recurring with that thing that's holding you back, that's where you can build your resilience, because the awareness around all of that is what helps bring that timeline of resilience much faster, much faster. And so I want people to kind of have an understanding of how to recognize it, what it causes, and what's important to actually accomplish for yourself. And hopefully in a small amount of words in this chapter, that people will be able to connect what they're going through to what I've shared and say, hopefully, she understands where I am. Because, of course, together, we want to help plant those seeds so that the grass is greenest where they are. And that comes with resilience.
Yeah, I agree. And, so many people are stuck in their comfort zone, right? They're not, they don't know how to push through things because life can be really challenging. I mean, life is not easy. And like you said, there's stressors and so many things that can really block our view from where we want to go. And I think part of probably what you do is you help them remove those blocks out of the way so they can be resilient and be able to reach their goals and dreams.
And that's exactly what it is. When I'm working with a client right now who is struggling to get past the blocker. They're fully aware of the blocker. It's all right out on the table. We have it in clear view. Yet there's still something that causes that fallback. And I think it's that comfort, that level of comfort, that comfort zone. So imagine yourself, you might want to say, well, my comfortable space is when I'm in my pajamas, curled up on the couch with a nice pillow, maybe some fluffy socks. But would it feel the same if you were in that position in your comfy pajamas and you're out on cold concrete with no heat, no cushion, right? A comfort zone is really how we define it, but that comfort zone can be bad. It could be negative, right?
It's resistance.
It's that resistance to the change. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes change. And I think resilience is all about embracing change.
I love that.
And
Absolutely.
knowing, right, that, okay, this may feel like it sucks right now, but
it's temporary, right?
It's temporary. That's it. I think that's a great word to use. Mm-hmm. The thing that holds you back, it's only temporary because once you become aware of it, you can kind of push it aside and then you can move forward. And when you bounce back, I'm much happier today than I was the other day because I let it go.
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate when you get uncomfortable, it makes you appreciate more the times that you get to lay back and actually you get to feel good because you get to watch how far you've come and your accomplishments. So it's a much better place rather than sitting in your comfort zone and being in that place of fear and stress and that place of resistance, which, resistance is persistence. You're never going to be able to push through. So when we stop resisting, we can flow. We can go towards what we want. So I think it's so important, like you said, for resilience is to give up, that constant persistent of fighting back against yourself because you really are fighting back against yourself.
I think that the best way to build your resilience is to embrace the discomfort that you don't like to feel. Being uncomfortable is your best tool, right? Nobody likes to feel uncomfortable. Most of us, when we're in our comfort zone, we're just in a situation where we know how to handle it, so even if it feels bad, it's easier than having to try to figure out how to do it differently because change is always hard, right? I think once you start to embrace feeling uncomfortable, that's when the magic begins. That's when possibilities arise, opportunity happens. Because if you're always in your comfort zone, everything's always going to stay the same. Your status quo.
It's predictable.
Right. What's uncomfortable can be exciting if you change the way you look at it. Perception really is everything.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's so unpredictable, right? That's what makes them be afraid of it and not want to go there. Because even I think it's something really simple, like a cold plunge, okay? I am such a baby. I mean, I like a hot shower, okay? I don't want to jump into like a cold plunge, but I know that if I jump in, it's going to do something for me to experience something different and kind of go through the discomfort to be able to get to somewhere something different that I've never done before. But it's like my own, being human is hard because we're always getting our own way. And so, it's easy to want to just dip your feet in the water or dip it a little bit, but we don't always jump full in. And I think resilience is jumping full in. Like just saying, like, not thinking, not overthinking about it, not being in your head about it, but just like, let me just take that action and not worry about the discomfort or what's going to be there, because I have that faith and trust that with my power, my resilience is going to take me there, and there'll be great things ahead. It's almost like you have to think like, there's something better there. Like I'm pushing towards something, uncovering more of myself, being able to challenge myself to reach a new level of myself. And I think that's scary, but resilience gets you to that point.
So I agree with what you're saying, and it's reminding me of something I read that Simon Sinek had said. Now, Simon Sinek, for anybody that may not know who he is a very famous motivational speaker. He never wanted to be a motivational speaker. That was never his plan. That wasn't his mission. And the first time he was going out on stage to speak to a large audience for a corporation, he felt all the butterflies and the nerves about going out on stage. And he said to himself, fear is the same physical reaction as excitement. So I'm going to tell myself, I'm not afraid, I'm excited, right? Wow. Just changing the word about how you feel changes everything. And so his resilience in that moment was just having a conversation with himself in his head and saying, I'm not going to be afraid, I'm going to be excited. And that gets back to, again, one of the questions that I said, ask yourself, what do you want to feel? Right? And if he was afraid and he felt that fear, would he have been in imminent life-threatening danger? No. There was no consequence to that. He went out on the stage, he talked to a bunch of people, and everybody was happy. So there was no danger. So the resilience really comes from some self-talk, I think. The awareness is first, and then telling ourselves, what do we want to feel? We get the right to choose. I think many of us don't really feel like we have the right to choose, but we do. So imagine when you make great choices for yourself and you're standing outside, just imagine you're planting those seeds and the grass is going to grow up under your feet and it's going to be greenest where you are.
Yeah, I love how you tie it all together, because we create it, right? And it's a choice. And we get to build that foundation of success. And if we get stuck in that place of fear, right, or not wanting to stay comfortable, you're never going to be able to get to a place where you could say the grass is greenest where I am, or because that's the work that you're doing to get yourself to another level of you, something you've never known before. And that's why you're here, is to, like you said before, to fix yourself, to be able to become a better version of you, because the way you've been programmed your whole life is not necessarily who you are today. We keep ourselves, kind of brainwashed or kind of in a certain place, and we think like we suffer a lot because of it.
Absolutely. I really have to just say to you that I love the title that you picked of your first book and now of this second anthology, because so many people are always looking for the greener grass on the other side, away from where they are. And you're really just making it easier for people to become aware that wherever you are, the grass can be green. You just have to make that choice. And so that was one of the reasons why I was excited to be able to collaborate with you. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love that so much. And I love the work you're doing, because you're such an example of resilience. You're such an example of somebody who literally 360 degrees, changed their life around, in a very short amount of time and got these awards. And now, you actually are empowering so many people all around you, rather not just coaching people one-on-one, but doing it also in a group setting.
Absolutely. And I really just want to say, I don't do anything that I do for accolades. There's been a lot of PR in 2024, and there'll probably be some more that's up and coming in 2025. But it's not about that. That's not why I do what I do. And truthfully, I say that those awards really belong to everybody in my community, because if I was alone in a room, what would I be? Changing myself is a monumental task in itself. But being able to really share that with other people where it makes a difference, that's really the big win. It really is. So I really say the awards really belong to everybody. I'm glad to be the representative, but I don't feel like I own it all myself.
Yeah. Well, you're very humble, which I love about you. But, it's if you didn't do the work, we wouldn't be where we are right now with IPP and the
I own that.
collective. Yeah. So
I do.
it's all, it's all connected because you put the seed in, right? And so you planted us. You planted the foundation for all of us to be able to, grow our grass with your seed, right? To multiply, So you expanded that for all of us, because otherwise there'd be a lot of people that are still lonely and feeling like they don't have a community and they don't have a voice and they don't know how to connect. So your concept has really changed that for people. Your coaching helps people really step into themselves and believe in themselves and get into their resilience to be able to create something different than they have currently. So that impact is so important, and that's why it's Heal Yourself, Heal the World, because it's that impact we create, the legacy we create, what we leave behind for others that really creates the change in the world.
It's beautiful the way you say that. It really does come from within, and then it does spread. I appreciate you, and I will own the fact that I created the foundation for where it could spread. My thought process when I started this was that if I work with individual clients, I can help them with their individual things, but it doesn't necessarily bring people back to being there for each other. And that's really something that was important to me, because I feel like I did a lot of hard work on myself, but I still needed community. I still needed people out there where we could lean on each other in a very authentic way. And I wasn't 100% sure what that would look like, other than getting it started. And it's kind of taken a life of its own. So I tell everybody that I'm the troublemaker because I started this whole thing. I'll take credit for that. But I still will say that, that expression, it takes a village. One person can't just keep dominating everything. Everybody has to kind of take a piece of it.
And you're making leaders. You're growing leaders.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say that we kind of forgot to touch on, not only did you plant the seed, you watered it. Okay?
Yes.
You watered that seed every single day, and you still water that seed every day. And that's why that grass can grow and expand and become what it is. It's because you watered that seed. You never stopped watering. The consistency that you are doing daily is creating that ripple effect for others as well.
Well, and so you're making me think of some key ingredients I believe are involved in having resilience and maintaining it. Okay? Number one, no one should ever have to feel alone. That's number one. Number two, everyone, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, deserve to feel appreciated. And number three, everyone deserves to feel cared about. When you feel cared about, you feel important. Those are 3 things that you deserve to feel that will water your resilience level. Where you won't even have to focus on it, it will just grow. And that's part of what I really try to do in bringing that concierge coaching aspect. What I do with individual clients, I bring it to the community because I'm always available. Second to second, I'm on top of everybody in my community, no matter how large it grows, because everyone deserves to feel like they have somebody. Everybody deserves to feel that appreciation and care. And that has grown within the different groups where they're all there for each other. And that is the most beautiful thing that I can see, because when you feel that, it's so much easier to work on yourself and build your resilience. You become like a rubber ball where you'll just bounce right back. Why? Because you know if you can't do it yourself, you have somebody who's going to help you get there. And I think that's important.
That is really important. And I also say, like, we get to be a mirror for each other. You know, when you're around positive, heart-centered people, which I see you as that, right? And you bring those heart-centered people together. They get to be a mirror for each other. So if you can't see it in yourself today, somebody in the room will mirror that to you, your beauty, you know, who you are, even when you can't see it. So that's why the connections are so important, because we get to be mirrors for each other. And the mirror lets you know that you're safe, that you're loved, that you're connected, right? And that's what keeps you feeling good on your journey and being able to, you know, move forward with your resilience, right?
I really believe that. And it goes back to your inner child. That little kid that you left behind long ago, say, come up front and center. Because when you have fun, when you smile, when you feel happy, when you're open and honest with the people around you, it's so much easier to be resilient than to hold yourself back. You know, I like to give my clients a ticket that says, give yourself permission, or permission granted, actually. And I got that actually from a retreat that I went to when I went for my coaching certification. And I saved them for myself. And I said, what a beautiful thing. I need to share this, because it's okay to give yourself permission, and most of us don't. So if you're listening today, wherever you are in your journey, give yourself permission to be resilient and make the choices that fuel you.
I love that. I love to give yourself permission. I actually got one of those once too, and it is a really cool thing. I don't know if I
Powerful.
still have it in my wallet, but it was a cool card. You
If
know?
not, I will give you one.
Okay, that's really, really nice. I love that.
It's just powerful. I
Yes.
keep it handy so I could look at it all the time and remind myself it's okay to give myself permission.
Right. Well, I am so, you know, just watching you grow, watching you expand, watching you grow your community and just who you are and the stand that you are for us to continue growing, and the collaborations that you're creating with other people, building leaders everywhere. I mean, it's just incredible. And it's impacted my life in a positive way. I met incredible people through IPP. You know, and it's not a networking group, so don't get
No.
that wrong. IPP is not a networking group. It's a connection group, right?
Exactly.
It's a connection group. It's a place where we talk about our wins, and we talk about way we can elevate ourselves in the world, you know, with discussions and by sharing our own experiences and growing as a community and being a supportive for one another.
And we end up helping each other with ideas to grow each other's businesses, and success happens. So, hey, you know, it's like having your own personal focus group to be able to build and be better. And everybody just celebrates each other. So that's a great thing to have, I think. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's just about people coming together and putting those ideas at work and sharing the resilience together.
I love that. Well, I'm so excited you're in our book, The Grass Grows Where I Am. Definitely, you know, when it comes out in 2025, check Lynn Lessell out. She's going to have an amazing chapter in there to really empower you on your journey. What is your ideal client that you want to connect with through your message, through your work, or ideal people that you are helping in this world? Is there like a certain person, like a certain age or is it pretty open space for that?
I believe that stress is ageless, so therefore anybody can have it. I don't typically work with children. However, any adult that is feeling like they're not where they want to be, or they don't know how to get where they want to be, they want to set up themselves to be aware of what they don't know about themselves. Most of us don't think that there's anything wrong, but if you're feeling like something's missing, if you're feeling like there's a void and you don't know what that void is, we can figure it out together. And then there's always a place in our community for you as well.
Yeah, I love that. So if you're feeling like just not fulfilled in life, like you feel an emptiness, a void, those are the kind of people that you can really help find themselves and be able to step into their, into their passion.
Yeah, you don't have to be down and out. You don't have to be devastated or, anything like that. I think most of the time, one of my clients really just wanted to be able to improve in her business and couldn't figure out how to be able to get there. She just felt stuck. She's like doing all the things that she was supposed to do but couldn't get there. Here's what I will say. Most often where we're stuck, it has an emotional source. And that could be a million different things for anybody, right? And it doesn't have to be anything major. It just has to be something that is emotional. That usually holds us back. We get to the root of that, and then you can take steps forward. Some people can do it in 3 months. Some people can take longer. I say, when I work with anybody, I really believe that 6 months is the key mark. And the reason being, if you look at statistics, it takes 3 months to create a new habit, but it takes 6 months minimum to create a lifestyle change. And that's really what it takes. When you're looking to let go of something, you have to create some sort of lifestyle change. But your resilience definitely grows.
I love that. So Lynn, how do people connect with you, find you? Go ahead and...
Well, you can find me at itzwhy.com. You can find me at innerpowerpartners.com. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Lynn Lessell. And in the near future, there will be a lynnlessell.com. So please feel free to reach out. There's a way to contact me in any of those places. And feel free to contact me if you just have a question. It's not about working together. It's just about maybe getting an answer. I'm happy to be there for you.
I love that so much. And your network, not your network, and your connection groups are all over, right? Boca Raton.
Oh, yeah, we'll be
Boynton
launching
Beach.
number 10 in January. So we're everywhere from Fort Lauderdale up to North Palm Beach Gardens, everywhere in between, and out to Sarasota. And we also have a virtual group. So if you live anywhere in the United States, even in another country, just contact me and you can visit us on Zoom. Believe it or not, the virtual space is no different than us sitting here around a table, and it's been very successful. So I'll look forward to seeing anyone there. Doesn't matter how far you are.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Lynn. It's been such an honor to, work with you and to be here with you and to be a part of your journey as well. I feel like it's been such great synergy between us, and I'm so excited to continue growing ourselves together.
Well, and I'm so happy to have you as part of my community as well.
Yes, 100%. I love the community.
Thank you so much for this invite. It really means a lot.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for joining us today on the World Healing Tour podcast. Until next time, remember to practice these 3 elements. Every day, remember to have a grateful heart and connect your gratitude. Number 1. Number 2, every day, remember to ground in love and compassion. First for yourself, and then also share that love and compassion with others. We all want more love and compassion, so why aren't we freely giving out lots of love and compassion? And number 3, every day know that you're not alone, Just keep searching for the answers. It's a guided journey. You're always guided, whether you want to say you're guided by universe, higher power, energy, source. For me, it's God. So I always say I'm guided by God. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Noah Crane. I'm excited to share this anthology book with you, The Grass Grows Where I Am. So just join us and be a part of this incredible book to help bring your message and influence into the world. We're excited to showcase what you do to make this world better. Click the link below. The World Healing Tour Movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.